better.
Say yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
Can you not handle this? Is it too much for you? Answer me.
I can handle it.
I can handle it, chef.
I can handle it, chef.
12, 10, 30.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Kai, aka Fervent Alchemist, and I'm back again with another deck tech. And this one's pretty interesting. This one is actually a Pride cEDH deck tech. If you don't know what Pride is, I'm going to read it here for you. For Magic Presents Pride event, treat all eligible commanders as though they had the partner ability. Insane, right? It seems broken. I'll tell you this. I'll read more. This allows players to add an additional commander to a deck they already have, or use a never before seen combination of two commanders to helm a totally new deck. And this is why we're here today. We are fucking cooking.
Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
Say yes, chef. I'm so tough.
Yes, chef. I'm so tough.
Fucking yes, chef. I'm so tough.
Yes, chef. I'm so tough.
From now on, you don't address me as Kai. You don't address me as Fervent Alchemist. You don't address me as anything you want to call me. You address me as Chef. From now on, I'm Chef. This is a brewer's paradise. I just want you to know that this format, I'm gonna call it a format, is a brewer's paradise, because you get to play anything you've ever wanted to play. I can understand why you wouldn't want to, because you're like, oh well, the month's over. This is only just for the month. Like, I don't want to put any brain power into this, and it'll be a waste of time. Nobody's going to play this format. So I'm going to offer this. I'm going to open up my server, and I'm going to create a Looking for Pride role. So now you can hop into my server, and you can play as much Pride as you want. You can ping the Looking for Pride role whenever you're looking for a game, and you could just hop in there and just start going ahead playing Pride, and yeah, it's going to be great. But the reason why we're here today is to, one, announce Happy Pride for all the other queers. I am pansexual, but yeah, Happy Pride. And also, let's get into this new format. So we got here Lotus Pool. This is a commander pairing that I just, chefed up for real. The commander pairings Emry, Lurrus of the Lock, and Lurrus of the Dream Den. I was originally brewing Will and Dustin just because I was going to do it for another video, and I was trying to do this like Esper Turbonos thing. And I already had the deck in my back pocket, and I was like, all right, cool. But I was like, this deck could use something. This deck could be a little bit better. And so I just worked off of Dustin and Will, and I was like, all right, let me just work off of this and try to find something that works. I'm going to try to find a cheap commander, and I'm going to try to find something that synergizes with it. The thing about the Pride format, this is untouched territory. People just started playing this. There are new decks everywhere, and there is no best deck. So if you're looking for a fresh new start in like cEDH, this is great. If you have any questions or concerns, yeah, you're playing two legendary creatures that you normally wouldn't have. You're adding colors to things that you normally wouldn't have had colors for. And for you, that might seem a little broken, but I promise you, it's more balanced than you think. And the way that Magic works, it kind of just balances itself out. My line of thinking was, I want a 1-drop or a 0-drop. I want something very, very close to Rograk within the Esper colors. So I looked on EDH Rec, scrolled through EDH Rec, looked for a bunch of like 1-drops that are blue and white and black, and I couldn't find anything that was worth my time. So I looked beyond the 1-drops and the 0-drops and the 2-drops, and I found Emry, and I was like, well, Emry's 1 mana most of the time, because if you drop your rocks like you normally do on turn 1 when you're playing cEDH, you play your rocks so you can get some advantage. You can just play Emry for 1, which is really cool. So you can play like your Mox Amber. You can play a Lotus Petal, play your land, and then you can tap, your land, and you can play Emry, and now your Mox Amber's turned on. You can play your Springleaf Drum, and as long as you have that 1 blue and 2 artifacts in play, you're gonna be able to play Emry. Also, Emry's kind of akin to Dargo, actually, because if you have artifacts on the battlefield and you go ahead and sacrifice Emry over and over again, the cost gets reduced by each artifact you have in play. Emry, Lurker of the Lock is a 2 blue legendary creature merfolk wizard. The spell costs 1 less for each artifact you control. When Emry, Lurker of the Lock enters the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. And it has the tap ability, choose the target artifact card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn, and it's also sitting at a 1/2. So, the Dargo part, and Dargo usually says this spell costs 2 less for each permanent you sacrifice on your battlefield. I don't know. I've never read Dargo before. I've never played Dargo before, but Emry's kind of similar to it. I've seen people play Dargo before, and I've seen them do it. So that's where I got the idea from of playing Emry. It doesn't count itself when it sacrifices like Dargo does, but it only counts the artifacts that you have on the field. So you're gonna have to do some math, and to compensate for that, you're gonna get some card advantage by milling yourself for 4. So I was thinking, and I was like, cool, let me go ahead and let me find a black and white commander that synergizes directly with Emry. So I was like, wow, which cards can pick up stuff from the graveyard? And I was like, Lurrus.
It was me, Barry.
I was like, yo, that's fucking sick. I was like, I could just play Lurrus, So Lurrus of the Dream Den is a 1 hybrid white-black legendary creature cat nightmare with a companion. It says each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less, and we're not playing it as a companion. This is going to be straight up in the command zone. It has lifelink. During each of your turns, you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. So you can kind of see how this directly synergizes with Emry. Emry pops into play, mills you for 4 cards, and if you're like, well, I didn't hit any artifacts, well, maybe you might have hit something in your deck that's 2 or less. The cool thing about Lurrus is that it's a hybrid black-white. So the reason why I called it Lotus Pool is because Jewel Lotus, you cast Jewel Lotus initially, drop Jewel Lotus down, sack it for triple black or white, whatever you want to do, and then you go ahead and cast Lurrus. And then you have Lurrus' ability, since each of your turns you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. You go ahead and cast Jewel Lotus again, use that, sacrifice for triple blue, and then you cast Emry, and then you mill yourself for 4. And also, the reason why I called it Lotus Field is because we got Lion's Eye Diamond, which is also like a Black Lotus in this deck. You cast your Lion's Eye Diamond, you sacrifice for triple black, you discard your hand, and now you have more cards in your graveyard that you can cast with Lurrus if that's something that you want to do. You sack your Lion's Eye Diamond for triple black or triple white, cast Lurrus. Now you have more cards in your graveyard. So if you thought you were cooking before, Lion's Eye Diamond is the Black Lotus of this deck, and that's why I have the name Lotus Pool, because Emry's sitting in this pool of lotuses as well. This deck is really cool. So I spent most of my time working on this deck and playing in test games where I just mulligan straight down for Jewel Lotus and Lion's Eye Diamond. And sometimes I wouldn't get it, sometimes you just don't get what you're looking for. But most of the time, I would keep like hands with no lands and just jam this Lion's Eye Diamond. And sometimes I would get back in the game. Other times I'd just play this Jewel Lotus, and sometimes I would get back in the game. Other times, people would just straight up kill Lurrus, and I was like, well, that kind of hurts. And then I realized I have Emry too. Then I could just tap Emry and recast Jewel Lotus or Lion's Eye Diamond and get Lurrus right back onto the field again. It's crazy. It's very resilient. It's very cool. If you are a kind of like a risky mathematical person like I am, this is the deck for you. If you like playing Storm and you like playing like Lion's Eye Diamond and Legacy, this is the deck for you. This deck is so fun. It's super fun to goldfish. It's amazing because I'm that kind of person and I'm that kind of player who likes to play things that keep your wheels turning and everything is just super synergy. This is the deck. So let's move on to the core of the deck. So you got Esper Sentinel here. Esper Sentinel is an artifact which you can cast with Emry. You can also cast it for Lurrus because it's a 1-drop. Amazing. Forsaken Miners in here. This is a combo piece in the deck. I'll get to that later. cEDH's Faithful is a card I literally just added in. This replaced Children of Corliss because I wasn't really getting Gnaws off as reliably as I thought I would. So that's why Children of Corliss was there, so I can get the Gnaws off reliably, but I hadn't seen it in a while. Sometimes I just mill the Gnaws and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do, you know? But I swapped it with cEDH's Faithful because you could play cEDH's Faithful from your graveyard or from your hand. You can sacrifice cEDH's Faithful, bounce something, and then replay it again with Lurrus. You got Lurrus in here. This is part of a combo with Forsaken Miner. I'll get into that later. You got Grand Abolisher. If you mill Grand Abolisher, guess what? You can play it with Lurrus. Pretty cool, right? Lothos, same thing. If you mill it with Lurrus, you can play it again. Orcish Bowmasters, same function. Same function. It's just going hard. Phantasmal Image, same function. Mill it with Lurrus. You can also replace your Emry if you want to see more cards. Snapcaster Mage is when you mill a instant or sorcery that you want to cast, and Lurrus can just go ahead and play your Snapcaster Mage. Maybe you milled your Ad Nauseam, go ahead and cast that Snapcaster Mage, and then boom, you're right back into business. Thassa's Oracle, of course. This is a blue-black-esque deck. You're going to be playing Thassa's Oracle. The funny thing about this deck, I don't think I've ever cast a Tainted Pact or Console to get this Thassa's Oracle off. I've always won in other ways, but I'm thinking about cutting Console and Tainted Pacts because I don't think I've ever won with Console or Tainted Pact. I mean, let's be real. I've actually cast a Tainted Pact once, and I've also used Tainted Pact as a tutor, but I hadn't used them for anything else. I'm not lying to you. Put in the extra effort to go ahead and get Snapcaster Mage to get that Console or Tainted Pact off. You're probably not winning the game. You just want to keep grinding those permanents, and the way that I've been winning with this deck is through permanent. Tidetaker, 1 and a white creature, human soldier. During your turn, spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast, and abilities your opponents activate cost 1 more to activate unless they're mana abilities. And it has an Afterlife 1, which I just noticed last night because also this is my first time playing Tidetaker. It has an Afterlife ability and it says when it dies, create a 1/1 white black spirit creature token. I don't think that's relevant, but it's cool. But yeah, this is like a pseudo Grand Abolisher. Like I said, if you mill this, you get to cast it with Lurrus. The Displacer Kitten is a house in this deck. It's also one of the win conditions in this deck. This deck has quite a bit of overlapping win conditions in here, and it's kind of crazy the way that this deck runs together. It's wild. I never thought I could do something like this in Esper, and it's really cool. I guess it's kind of like an artifact-centric deck. You can go ahead and find your One Ring, any one of your rocks. Usually this deck's looking for Lion's Eye Diamond. Lion's Eye Diamond is a win condition, surprisingly, in this deck. And then once you sacrifice your artifact, guess what? Emry and Lurrus will be able to cast them again, so it's almost like you never even lost anything. Mnemonic Betrayal, this is also a win condition in the deck. I think I keep saying this all the time, but I think it's time for me to just get into the win conditions, honestly. So, after I get through the sorceries, I'll just get into the win condition. Serene's Reclamation is here when you just can't cast a 3-drop. Maybe you mill your Ristic Study or something. And it's got the flashback cost, which directly synergizes with everything in the deck. Yawgmoth's Will, like I said, directly synergizes with everything in the deck. It just, picks up your graveyard and you get to go ahead and cast it. Sometimes you just mill yourself so hard that, Yawgmoth's Will is the thing you need to close out. Beseech the Mirrors, excellent tutor, artifact-centric deck. Like I said, you can just go ahead and recast any artifact that you sacrifice with either Lurrus or Emry. But yeah, let me get into these win conditions here. Thassa's Oracle, Demonic Consultation, Tainted Pact. That is one of the win conditions in the deck. You also got Forsaken Miner, Blood Artist, and Phyrexian Altar. So this combo was shown to me by Bruja. They showed me this combo they posted about it. Forsaken Miner, Blood Artist, and Phyrexian Altar. So, like, the thing with this deck, Forsaken Miner, you're going to probably mill Forsaken Miner, and it also says when you commit a crime, you can pay it black and put it into play. And that directly synergizes with Emry just milling it by accident. You got Blood Artist, which is a 2-drop. So, again, if you mill it with Emry, you can just go ahead and cast it with Lurrus. And then you got Phyrexian Altar. If you mill this with Emry, you can go ahead and tap Emry and cast Phyrexian Altar. So now you have this overlapping win condition, which is literally kind of wild. Phyrexian Altar also kind of does the Dargo thing, like I mentioned earlier. You can sacrifice Emry, and if you have a pretty high count of artifacts, you can just go ahead and cast her again. Sack Emry for blue, cast her again. So you have Displacer Kitten, Lion's Eye Diamond, and you also have Lurrus. So how this works is you play your Displacer Kitten, right? Put it into the battlefield, right? You also have to have Lurrus in play. You cast your Lion's Eye Diamond, Displacer Kitten trigger goes off, and then you target Lurrus with the Displacer Kitten trigger. This will reset Lurrus, so Lurrus enters as a new permanent. You sacrifice your Lion's Eye Diamond, you get rid of your hand or whatever, and then you go ahead and cast your Lion's Eye Diamond from the graveyard. Make whatever color you want. Lurrus resets. Now, you cast your Lion's Eye Diamond from the graveyard. Target Lurrus again with Displacer Kitten. Lurrus resets. You sack your Lion's Eye Diamond, make any 3 color you want. You cast it again, Lurrus resets. And you rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And now you have infinite floating mana of whatever colors you choose. And usually, you could just go ahead and cast like maybe like I don't know, like a grinding station, which then will reset Lurrus because it's a non-creature spell. Blinks Lurrus. Then you can go ahead and cast your Lion's Eye Diamond again, which is from the graveyard. Reset Lurrus. And then you're gonna go ahead and grind your Lotus Petal away, or your Lion's Eye Diamond away, and you can target yourself. You mill yourself out. You're gonna reset Lurrus, and this time you're gonna crack for triple blue. Then you're gonna cast Thassa's Oracle and just win the game. That's how I've been winning games. That's how I've been winning games. Or you can go ahead, if you feel like you don't have enough protection, you can go ahead and just do that whole loop again, mill yourself out. And then you can cast Defense Grid, reset Lurrus, and then you can go ahead and Thassa's Oracle. Or you can go ahead and do this whole loop again, and then you could target your opponents, do that whole loop. They have no library. And then you can go ahead and cast Snapcaster Matron in your graveyard instead. Then you can just Mnemonic Patrol everybody, or one of the other win conditions, which is really funny. So say if you don't have Lion's Eye Diamond, or you don't have anything else. So if you have Displacer Kitten and Lurrus, I'm also running Mishra's Bauble. So Mishra's Bauble is a 0-drop artifact. Then it has a tap ability, sacrifice Mishra's Bauble, look at the top card of target player's library, draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So, say if you already have Emry and Lurrus out, and Emry's able to tap or something like that, you can go ahead and cast your Mishra's Bauble, sacrifice it, look at the player next to you, look at their top card. Then you can tap Emry, target Mishra's Bauble, cast Mishra's Bauble again, sacrifice, look at the next player. Then you can cast it off of Lurrus and look at the next player. And by the next turn's upkeep, you're going to draw 3 cards, which is basically an Ancestral Recall. But the way that this works with Displacer Kitten works the same way as Lion's Eye Diamond, except every time you crack it, you're creating a delayed trigger where you're going to draw a card on the next turn's upkeep. So you can do this about maybe you have 80 cards in your library. You can do it about 79. Actually, yeah, you can do it 79 times. I usually do it with 5 left in the library just to be safe, or maybe 3 left in the library just to be safe. And then by the next turn's upkeep, you're just gonna draw all of the cards. You're gonna draw about 79 cards or something like fucking. You could do 69 just to be funny, and then you could just go ahead and cast Born Upon the Wind and just do your thing right on top of them. Spells here. Entomb. Oh my god. Entomb is 1 black instant. Search your library for a card. Put that card to your graveyard and shuffle your library. This card sets you up so fucking well. I can't even tell you. You can just search for an artifact like maybe like Jewel Lotus or Lion's Eye Diamond, and you can just go to town. You know. It could also put anything else you want in there, maybe like a 2-drop permanent, or maybe like an artifact in the graveyard. It just sets you up really well. Intuition. This is a card you usually do not see in Esper. You usually don't see this card, and because we're playing Emry and Lurrus, this card just goes ahead and gets you the 3 permanents that you need. And you can just go ahead and win the game, which is wild. You can get like, I don't know, like Lion's Eye Diamond, Animate Dead, and Displacer Kitten, and that just sets you up right there. You can get like Animate Dead, Displacer Kitten, and Mishra's Bauble. That does the thing right there. You can also get Forsaken Miner, Blood Artist, and Phyrexian Altar. That also sets you up when you have Emry able to tap. You can just tap and target the Phyrexian Altar. This can also get you 3 silence effects. It can get you Grand Abolisher, Tide Taker, and Defense Grid. Also, just notable mention is that I'm not playing Ranger Captain of Eos. All of my silence effects are 2. They're 2 or less. And I also have Literal Silence. I think I'm good here. And that curve is looking very nice. Just want to mention Ad Nauseam. This is probably the best Ad Nauseam you're ever going to get in Esper. It's truly, truly, truly a joy to cast Ad Nauseam into this deck. I don't think I've ever cast Ad Nauseam and not won the game. For the artifacts here, I did mention quite a bit of them. Yeah, just all the same artifacts that just make mana. And you can also kind of tell this is kind of similar to Rogsai, because it's like the Esper Rogsai. It's great. At least, like, you know, your Rograk, which is Emry, that at least does something. It provides some kind of advantage. You even got Light and Grease here. This was like a last minute inclusion. I was running the Reality Chip, but I never really wanted to equip Reality Chip to anything. And I never really sought to just want to play Reality Chip. But, you know, the future's too unsure. I'm willing to change my mind in the future. Lightning Grease is in the deck. This is when I do the Dargo thing, like I mentioned earlier, is where I sack Emry to Phyrexian Altar for blue, recast her, then I can equip her to Lightning Grease, tap her, target something like Lion's Eye Diamond, recast Lion's Eye Diamond, and then go ahead and make some more mana. I can, for some reason, I don't even know why, but people see Time Sieve and no Tivit, people kind of just lose their minds. I don't know why, but yeah, there's a lot of artifacts in this deck, and also this is probably the best deck to run Time Sieve, because once you sacrifice 5 artifacts, you can just go ahead and cast them again with Emry and Lurrus. So say maybe you have Time Sieve out already, or you just cast Time Sieve from your hand, you could just sacrifice 5 artifacts, then recast 1 with Emry, recast the other with Lurrus, go to your next turn, recast 1 with Emry, recast 1 with Lurrus, and then you could probably do something else. You could probably just take another turn after that if you want. It's really funny, but Time Sieve's in the deck just for that reason. It's great. You got Relic of Legends. I'm kind of like back and forth on Relic of Legends. When I realized that I was kind of doing the Dargo thing with Emry and milling myself, I realized, oh, I could tap Emry, make a blue. I could tap Lurrus, make a blue. It's kind of almost the same thing. I keep saying this over and over and over again. It's akin to Dargo. It's just blue Dargo, mill yourself for 4, and you just go ahead and get more and more cards in your graveyard. It's just such good synergy. It's great. I've seen a lot of people cutting One Ring from their cEDH decks, and for good reason. I don't have a reason to cut One Ring yet, but One Ring is a really good card in this set because Emry can tap and cast this card. Although I haven't seen One Ring at all, I just keep winning way too fast, or I haven't been in very grindy games as of lately. But the One Ring's in his deck, you know, it's super synergistic with Emry. I did mention animate deadlines with with intuition and everything. This originally was reanimate, but after milling reanimate countless times, I'm like, well, there's gotta be a permanent card that brings back creatures from my graveyard and opponent's graveyards, and animate dead is the card. Counterbalance. This was a swap for force negation. Yeah, swap force negation for counterbalance because guess what? You can cast this off of Lurrus when you mill it. I know, it's crazy. I would have never thought about that myself. You could just mill this card and just cast it. Sometimes you end up with no hand in this deck, and that's completely fine. And Counterbalance is here to counter all the 2, 3, and 1 drops, and even the 0 drops. But yeah, this deck is like really, really fun. I'm gonna actually probably goldfish a couple hands. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, I'm probably sending this one back. So generally, when you play this, look at this. This hand's like insane. This is an insane hand. So you got Mox Opal, Mishra's Bauble, Mana Confluence, Jewel Lotus, Chain of Vapor, Watery Grave, Displacer Kitten. Honestly, if this Jewel Lotus was a Lion's Eye Diamond, I'd sacrifice my hand all day. I know that's crazy, but I would probably sacrifice my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out. This is a second 7. Okay, I got the land drop. Mox Opal, Mishra's Bauble. I think I'm supposed to play Jewel Lotus here, sacrifice Jewel Lotus. For triple black, cast Lurrus. And here's the kicker. We're not playing Jewel Lotus from the graveyard. We're cracking the Mishra's Bauble. Or actually, no, I'm not going to crack it yet. I'm going to wait a second, and I'm gonna first cast Emry. Mill 4 cards. Usually when I mill cards, I move them over here because they're easier to move around. Okay, nothing here. Nothing too crazy here. So that gives me the signal that I should probably be cracking Mishra's Bauble because I need to play this Displacer Kitten. Yeah, and I need more cards on my graveyard to do other stuff, so I'm gonna be cracking this Mishra's Bauble. Then casting again with Lurrus, then cracking the Mishra's Bauble again. And now we have a naked Mox Opal and 2 delayed triggers. What do we get with the 2 delayed draw triggers? You got Mystic Remora and Lotho, not bad. Plays Water Grave untapped. I kind of want to turn this Mox Opal on. So what I'm going to do is tap Emry, target Jewel Lotus. And I'm going to go ahead and cast this Mishra's Bauble from the graveyard off of Lurrus. And then I'm going to go ahead and cast Mystic Remora. Typically, I wouldn't do this the crackhead way and cast all these spells first to get eaten up by a Mind Break Trap. I would have just cast this first, and then I would have cast all these other spells next. Or, get this. So put this back in my hand. This is the graveyard. These are in the graveyard. These are here. Let's go ahead and untap again. Let's rewind. So what we can do here is we can go ahead and cast Lotho instead. And after Lotho, we can go ahead and cast, I don't know, Mishra's Bauble, right? Which then will create a treasure. And now the Mox Opal's turned on, right? And then you can crack Mishra's Bauble again. And then cast Mishra's Bauble off of Lurrus again. So that does a lot more. And now you have 2 delayed triggers. Draw. Wow, look at that. Mana Crypt and a land. And you just keep up in 7. Like, Mishra's Bauble is cracked in this deck. It's wild. So now I need to think of a game plan here. Because I have... Okay. So this is turn 2 right now. So now my game plan here is to think about how I'm going to drop this Displacer Kitten. So, in between the turns, in between now and turn 3, I should be thinking of a plan. Maybe I'm making treasures. Maybe so. So I'm going to go ahead and roll here and see how many treasures I make. 1 2s, 1, 3 4s to 5 6 is 3 treasures. I rolled a 5. I'll just make 3 treasures. They know I don't have Born Upon the Wind. They're not scared. They're just going to keep casting their spells. They don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and tap this Mox Opal, cast this Light Tutor. So what we get here is a Phyrexian Altar. You might be a little shocked, like, why are you getting a Phyrexian Altar? Well, I'm going to show you in a bit. So this is the graveyard. You go on tap turn 3, right? You play a land. For protection, since we have enough mana, we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana here. I'm gonna go ahead and tap this Mox Opal because it's expendable. It could go any day. I'm gonna cast this Mystic Remora. Okay. So whenever this, if this doesn't go through, since we don't have any counter spells here, I'm going to be drawing cards in the exchange, so I'm going to go ahead and sack the expendable mana here and cast this Displacer Kitten. I'm going to go ahead and make another treasure from Philotho. So say, like, by our stars, it's resolved. Displacer Kitten's resolved. It's a perfect world. Everybody's happy here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cast this Phyrexian. Actually, I'm gonna cast this Phyrexian Altar. In response to the Displacer Kitten trigger, I may just blink Emry. And before I do that, I'm gonna tap Emry. It says choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. You still pay its cost. Timing rules still apply. So, even though I'm going to target this and blink it, I can still target Mishra's Bauble. And then no blink. I'll mill 4 cards. Mox Diamond, Mystical Tutor, Thassa's Oracle, and Mox Amber. Great. Cool. And then since I have more things I can cast, I'm going to cast this Mox Opal. I'm going to blink it again. Savine's Reclamation, Demonic Tutor, Dispel, Silence. Okay, we might be cooking. And then we still have the Mystic Remora Protection. I'm going to go ahead and cast this Mox Amber from the graveyard, targeting Lurrus with the Displacer Kitten trigger. So, like I said, Lurrus will reset. Then I can go ahead and cast this Mox Diamond. Lurrus will reset, and I'll go ahead and discard this Gemstone Caverns. I have a cast off of Emry, which is the Mishra's Bauble. I'm gonna go ahead and target Emry with this one. Mill 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a Miner and a Lotus Petal. I'm going to go ahead and crack Mishra's Bauble. I'm going to cast Mishra's Bauble again. So now I can do the thing where I just delay triggers to draw cards here, and I can maybe draw like 60... I don't know, I can do like 65 cards here. I can do that, or I can make infinite mana. I'll cast like Lotus Petal, reset Lurrus, sacrifice it, cast Lotus Petal, reset Lurrus, sacrifice, do this over and over and over again. And once I have infinite mana, I can sacrifice Emry over and over to Phyrexian Altar, mill my whole library, go to the end of the library, cast Thassa's Oracle from the graveyard because of Lurrus. That's an option. Or I can just create all these delayed triggers. Born Upon the Wind is in the graveyard, but like I said, we have Snapcaster Mage, so I can go ahead and keep all this mana up. Cast everything out again, keep all this mana up. And then once I get to the Snapcaster Mage, I can go ahead and cast Snapcaster Mage, Born Upon the Wind, GG, cast everything out of my hand. Like, this is great. This is turn 3. Turn 3, by the way. That's crazy, right? Turn 3.